Good morning, everybody. This is an early morning live. This is the only time I can ever do these things, but I feel like I have been just MIA this week. I've had so much going on with work and the kids, and so I thought that I would hop on because I have a lot of new customers that are getting their makeup, are going to be getting their makeup. I think that Saint is finally starting to get caught up on the sale day orders. So I'm really hoping that a lot of you start getting your makeup really soon. But it's been a while since I have done a live, so I actually got my goodies in from the sale. I admittedly went a little nuts. At like 3 a.m. I could not sleep that night for whatever reason. And so I got it all. I got all the things. So I wanted to show you kind of what their packaging looks like. So it comes in a really nice box. And I actually love how Saint has changed up their packaging with their makeup in the past. I think like 6 months, maybe it's been different. So it used to come with just a ton of like that really small paper confetti, which is great, but it gets everywhere. And so they've kind of changed up their packaging and I really appreciate it. And one of my favorite things that they do now is it used to be like all of your tins would be just kind of scattered throughout, and they now give you these cute little drawstring pouches, and this is where all of your tins will stay in, which I love. And then you can like reuse these for, you know, whatever you'd like to use these for. I use them for like to keep my rings and stuff, or you know, for like travel purposes if you have like little stuff to keep. So I have a ton of them at this point because this is what all of your tins now come in. So I love that. But while I'm waiting for a few more people to hop on, I'll show you what I got. So I got all of the fun colors in the palettes because I was loving these bright colors. I felt like I just needed all of them. So this was my favorite. So I got the 27. This is my absolute favorite size palette. This is the one that I use for like my everyday makeup. This is my palette. This is the palette I use every single day. And I just love the size of the 27 because I can keep kind of a variety. It has all of my like highlights, my bronzers, my illuminators. I have my lip and cheeks. And then I keep my demi, my lip liner, and my powders back here. And I always keep my eyeshadow separate because I have all of the eyeshadows and there's no point in separating those. So I love the palette 27. It's my favorite size, to be quite honest. So I got the palette 27 in that really fun green, which I am just dying over. And then I got the palette 4s and all of these fun bright colors. So how fun and pretty are these? I don't know, they just make me smile. So I needed all of them and I figured I'd use them for giveaways too. So that's always a fun thing. So those are the new palettes, and I also I'm really excited to try it, but I got the brand new bronzer and the brand new illuminator. So we'll check that out. And then what else did I get? I stocked up on some stuff. Sunshine State is back, and it's back for good, which I'm really happy about. That one, every time they would like put it back out for sale, I would stock up on it, and I know a lot of people did the same. So no need to panic anymore. It's not going anywhere. They're keeping it on as a staple, which is really nice because that one is probably one of the most popular lip and cheek colors. So I stocked up on some new demi colors. That's what these tiny tins are. I'm not going to get into that because I kind of like to play around with demi before I show it to you guys. But I do love demi. I've been using it. Isn't the orange beautiful? I love, yes. And I'm a San Francisco Giants fan, so the orange, I had to have the orange too. But I have been really loving demi on the weekends when I don't really, especially in Alabama, sometimes it's just too freaking hot to wear makeup. And if I'm not doing anything or we're just running errands or something, I really have loved just doing like a tinted moisturizer or my tinted SPF with a little bit of demi and some bronzer. And I have really been loving playing with demi. So I got some new demi colors. And then let's see, this is the new bronzer, which I'm really excited to try. You got the yellow 27. Yes. Demi is so good. It's so good, you guys. It's great. I use it for my under eyes mostly. I have a little bit of redness. I'm not going to use Demi today, I don't think, because I'm not too bad. My kids have been like sleeping in their own beds and not waking me up. So I've been getting some good sleep. So I don't feel like I really need Demi today, but I love it. It's so good. So this is the new bronzer. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to use this one today. I typically use Bella and Heat Waves bronzer. I never thought that I would like Heat Waves, but I have been loving Heat Waves, A, when I have like my self tanner on, and B, when I'm a redhead. There is something about Heat Waves when I'm a redhead. It is stunning. So I've been using that bronzer, so I'm going to try that one today. This is the fun. I'm excited. I'm going to play around with the Fruit Punch colors. One of the SEINT artists that I follow did an entire face with the Fruit Punch colors. And it like blew me away, because you look at these and you're like, what? My friend Lauren, I'm calling her out. She's like, Christina, do people actually use the grape? I was like, I know it looks crazy, but there's so much that you can do with these. So this is part of the Fruit Punch color. I have my watermelon around here somewhere. So they look so bright, but they're so just sheer that really you can just kind of use them to change the tone of stuff. So or you can have a bright purple lip, whatever you want. So I'm excited to play around, but one of the SEINT artists did like a full face, kind of using it almost in the concept of Demi, and it looked stunning. So I'm really excited to play around with that. So more Demi. Here's the new cream illuminator. This is Nova. So I have rose gold and I have glow in my palette. So I'll show you Nova between those two, because that's kind of what it's between. It's a cross between rose gold and glow, which are my two absolute favorite illuminators. I stocked up on Sunshine State. And then this is the new, the Demi Balm in the scent Peach. Oh, you guys, that smells really good. So this is the Demi Balm in the peach scent, and it really does smell like just juicy peaches. Oh, that's really good. We're gonna put some on right now. That is so good in the morning. That was one of my favorite things about the Fruit Punch collection, is like when I open up my my lip and cheeks, like I get that whoosh of like all the fruity scents, and it just like kind of jolts me in the morning, and I love it. It's so good. Okay, so that's what I got. But really, the purpose of this video, I wanted to show you guys how I do my makeup, since I have a lot of people getting their makeup for the first time. So for me personally, I always start off with my eyeshadow. And I do that because no matter what, you're going to have a little bit of fallout. And as we get older and you get more texture under your eyes, I do not like layering on makeup under my eyes. So I don't like cleaning up with more makeup. I like to just do my eyeshadow, clean up under my eyes, and then have one layer of just very light coverage under my eyes. So that's what I do. So I'm going to do my eyeshadow first. I'm just priming my eyes with my highlights. And then you're going to want to set this with powder. You never want to go over your cream with your eyeshadow. So always make sure that you are setting with a setting powder before you do that. And that way your eyeshadow will go on nice and smooth. It won't be splotchy. It won't pick up more color in some areas than others. It'll just go on nice and even, which is what we want. And I'm going to keep it really simple with my eyeshadow today. A, because I have to go to work, and B, this has just kind of been my go-to all week. Oh, and I also got another, Melody is one of the shades of the season, and I got an extra one of these because I absolutely fell in love with this color, and I didn't think that I would like it as much as I do, but I love Melody. It is so beautiful on. So anyways, shout out to Melody for the shades of the quarter, because I am obsessing over the shades this time around. Where's my eyeshadow brush? Okay, so I have been kind of I get on these kicks, like especially if I'm busy during the week, where I just have like this go-to like two eyeshadow look. And one of my favorites is Bubba and Rigoletto. And I absolutely love them together. And it's just a super easy look. So I just take Bubba and I buff this all over and blend it up into my crease. Now, if you don't have Bubba, you need to get it because it is it probably is my favorite eyeshadow color. It's one of my most used eyeshadow colors. And it is just so pretty, and it goes with everything. It goes with all of the eyeshadow colors, which I love because it's so versatile. And you can tell because I think this is maybe my third Bubba that I've gone through, and I'm already hitting the 10 on it. If that's any indication how much I love this and use this. Can you use a regular brush or must you use the SEINT brushes? For the cream makeup, I would not recommend using a different brush just because these are made specifically for this cream makeup. So when you see us going through to different colors on our faces and you're like, how does that not all just end up in one, mucky mess? These don't soak up the makeup. So you're just not going to get the same application. Sure, you can probably use a different brush. But I will stand by SEINT brushes. They just make the makeup go on so flawless and smooth. So I really recommend, if you are going to just invest and try this makeup, this is the only brush you need right off the bat. This is the only brush I started with was the blush and bronzer brush. And I used that for a long time before I bought any other ones. But this is the one I always recommend for first timers. And if you add a brush, the detail brush is my favorite. But that's my long answer to that question. You can, but you're probably not going to get the same outcome as if you use the SEINT brushes. And the other thing I will say is the brushes, I think like this one is maybe $40. They're dual ended. So before I started using SEINT, I would buy the IT Cosmetic brushes, which were maybe like $35, and it was just one-sided. And I swear to God, after like 6 months, 8 months, all of the bristles on this thing, on the IT Cosmetics brush, started clumping and falling out. So these will last you so long. This one this is probably one of my first ones. I've had this brush for probably 2 years at this point. They last so long. So you get a lot of bang for your buck because like I said, they're all dual-sided brushes. So there's not a single brush that they sell that just comes with one use, which I really love. Okay, so we did Bubba on our eyes. Now I'm going to go in with Rigoletto. That's this really pretty kind of dark smoky metallic one. And I'm just going to go over my lid on this color. Y'all know I'm a fan of a smoky eye, and this is like my lazy girl smoky eye, and I really love it. So that's why this one has just kind of been on repeat for me this week, just because I've had so much going on. But it's Friday. It's Friday, and I don't think we have any plans this weekend, which I'm really excited about because we have every weekend has felt like we've had something going on. Okay, and then I'm just going to blend this out because you don't want any harsh lines. You want it all to blend nicely together. So I'm just blending this out in that crease area. Rigoletto is one of my all-time favorites. It's mine too. It's so pretty. I'm using it very boldly today, but you can also use Rigoletto just like to deepen like your crease. It's so beautiful. Love this color. Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm doing. And I'll finish my under eye when I get the rest of my makeup on. But this is what I'm talking about. Do your eyeshadow first, clean up under your eye, and then you don't have to add more makeup on to clean up under your eyes. To me, that's just, we don't need to be piling on makeup under our eyes, of all places. So here is my palette. This is my brightening highlight. This is my main highlight. And this is sometimes when I'm a little more tan, This is the highlight that I kind of dip into to warm it up. So this is Amber, but Athens is my jam. It's my jam. So one of the things that you might notice and that I hear a lot is you get these tins in the mail and you're like, there is no way on earth that this is my color. Like, this is way too dark. And please keep in mind that these are super pigmented. So they come in small tins because you don't need a lot. You need very little product because they're so heavily pigmented. So don't judge the color based on what you see in the tin because it looks completely different, okay? And yes, we are going to do, she asked about sunscreen. Should I apply before everything? Yes, go ahead and apply your sunscreen. I don't apply it before my eyeshadow just because I don't want to wipe it off under my eyes. So I have been using, Coola, and then I use the Aaliyah under my eyes because it's tinted. I got a new one from Pomifera that I left downstairs that I wanted to try, but I left it downstairs. So we'll try that a different day. But put your sunscreen on before. Just make sure that whatever sunscreen that you're using does not contain any silicones because that will affect the longevity and the wear of your makeup. So if you need any sunscreen recommendations, just send me a DM. I'm happy to give you the ones that I love. And then these are my bronzers. So where's my High Tide? Here's High Tide. Okay, so let me go ahead and put in, actually I'm going to take out Heat Waves. So this is Heat Waves and this is Bella. So I'm going to take out Heat Waves because I'm not going to be a redhead today. I'm going with my blonde stacked. So this is the new High Tide. So it's much warmer than the Bella, which Bella is my kind of like go-to. I feel like it's a universal color. And then let me get Nova. So here's Rose Gold Illuminator, and this is the Glow Illuminator. Both of my favorites. They're the ones that I use the most. I love mixing my illuminators with my bronzer. And then here's Nova. So it's like Glow and Rose Gold had a baby, and that baby is Nova, and I'm really excited about it. It looks just really pretty. So let me just swatch this. So just like a really pretty light bronzy champagne color. I'm stoked on this, you guys. Very excited for the new colors. Nova and High Tide were surprises to us on release day. So we knew about the new highlights. Yeah, because we could order them ahead of time, which I did. But when the sale day came, they surprised us and had the new bronzer and the new illuminator and the new Fruit Punch collection color. So I was really excited about that. I lost my mind. Okay, so that's my sunscreen. I'm just going to go in under my eyes. I think maybe the last live I did, it's been a while since I've done a live. I told y'all that I was having issues, as we age, every so often, something that we were doing does not work anymore. And that I was having that issue with my under eye. The texture of my under eye was changing, and it's like I just could not get my makeup to look as good underneath, and I just kept adding more makeup, which is just the absolute wrong thing that you want to do. Don't add more makeup. That's not the solution. Because especially as we get older, when you get texture in your eyes, you want a very minimal amount of makeup. And so I started using the Aaliyah Super Serum Skin Tint. It's the SPF and it's tinted, and that just kind of helped color correct under my eyes. It's super hydrating. It has hyaluronic acid, squalane, niacinamide. It had all of these good ingredients, so it kept my under eyes really nice and hydrated, and just allowed me to not use as much makeup underneath, but still get a little bit of color correction. So I really, really like that product. So when I don't have suntan, self-tan on, I kind of go between both of my, my sunscreens, just because I don't really need a tint all over my face right now because I have been lazy and did not self-tan. So let's do our face. All that talking, I haven't even started my face. Okay, so everybody does their makeup differently. I like to start with my contour. The other thing I will say is that the thing with this makeup is people see it all over, like adding like the dots to your face all over and then blending everything out. That is my least favorite method to apply this makeup. And most artists that I know agree with me. It's just not easy. And I think that there are better ways to apply this makeup to get a much better result. So I strongly recommend against using that method, especially the first time that you get your makeup. I feel like it's a great way for us to show you how little product you need and where the colors go. But for actual everyday application, hard stop, don't like it. So this is how I apply my makeup every day. I start with my contour. This is my detail brush, and I just go in to the edge of that detail brush. And I'm just stamping that contour right under my cheekbone. You don't want to go too far in, so just kind of on the outside half of your cheek, and then go up. So a good rule of thumb is kind of the top of your ear down to about the middle of your cheek. I feel like contour just makes like all the difference in the world. And it's so incredible how you can just make very impactful changes with contour. So if there's something I don't like, I have a large forehead. So I contour my forehead down and it makes it appear smaller. I have a long face, so I kind of contour right here. So everybody's going to contour a little bit differently, except for your cheeks are probably universal. And then I also like to contour my nose, but I wait until I have my main highlight placed before I contour my nose. I contour my chin because I have a long face. So I just contour right there. And then along the jawline. Under my lips, and this is gonna make my lips appear nice and juicy and pouty. Or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna hold off on nose contour. And then I go in with my blush and bronzer brush. I go in with the small end and I'm gonna do my main highlight. So I am just using Athens, that is this color right here. And I'm just tapping very lightly into Athens. And I'm just buffing this out. Like I said, you need very little product for this. So while it looks really dark and scary in the tin, once you apply this and you apply very little, it just melts into the skin. So it's really crazy what these colors end up looking like once they're actually blended out on the skin. Which is what I love about this makeup. So the first time I ever put this on, I was like, it does not even feel like I'm wearing makeup. It literally just felt like I was wearing like a nice moisturizer all day. It didn't have the drying feeling, which for me, I have very dry skin. It did not have the drying feeling of traditional liquid foundation to me, which I really loved. But you just need so little of it to achieve good coverage. And the other thing that I really love about this makeup is that I can have either a super light no makeup look, or I can go full glam with this makeup and I don't need to change. I don't need a different foundation. I just change how I apply it, which I really, really like. So it's super versatile. Okay, so now for my under eyes. If you notice, I've kind of avoided them, but now I'm going to go in just with any excess main highlight that I have, and I'm just going to tap it under my eye. So I'm not applying product directly underneath my eye because you want to keep that as light as possible. And that is going to help avoid any creasing that you have and still give you some coverage, okay? So that is my main highlight. Now I'm gonna go into my brightening highlight. This is Versailles. I'm going in with the small end of my detail brush, and I'm just adding this down the center of my face. So your brightening highlight is going to just bring light to the center of your face. I go to the inner corners and then the outer corner of my eye, just like that. And then I'm going to go back to my blush and bronzer brush and I'm going to blend that out. Now at this point is when I like to do my nose contour. It's just I guess a personal preference. It's just how I like to do my makeup. But like I said, everybody, you'll get in your own groove and figure out what makes sense and works best for you. So for my nose contour, I either use my detail brush or I use this one. This is actually a demi brush. This is the Demi Blur brush, and I really love this for nose contour. So I just lightly tap in to my contour, and I'm just going right along the top, not the side of my nose, but along the top of the bridge of my nose. And I'm just lightly buffing a line down, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, going on the top and just buffing a line down. So you don't want to go to the side of your nose because that's going to make your nose appear wider. And most of us that are contouring our nose, that is not what we're going for. We're trying to make our nose appear more slim. So go on the top of your nose and lightly draw a line down. And then I connect it up to my eyebrow, and then you'll connect it down here, kind of bring it down to a V. Okay? And then I take my multitasker brush, the flat end, and I go back into my Versailles, and I just draw a very thin line like that. And then I take my finger, my trusty finger, and I just kind of blend this out with my finger. And that is how I do nose contour. That's the easiest way I found to do it, and I love it. And that's that. So let's see, bronzer. So we're going to try High Tide. So here's High Tide. This is the new bronzer that just came out. So I have a feeling, so this kind of looks between, so Heat Waves has a very red undertone. That's Heat Waves, which I love when I'm a redhead. And this just looks like a warmer version. Oh, this is really pretty, you guys. This looks like just a warmer version of Bella. This is really pretty. So this is a great kind of medium tone bronzer. It's not light like Tan Lines is our fair one. It's a very cool fair. It's warm cool. It's warm because it's a bronzer, but out of the bronzers, it's one of the cooler ones. Excuse me. Okay, so for my bronzer, I just take that right below my contour on my forehead and I just buff it down. To me, bronzer makes so much difference. And then I'm just going right above that contour on my cheek and I'm buffing that up. But to me, bronzer makes all the difference. It just kind of brings everything together, which I really like, and it just warms it up. And that's the other thing, as we get older, it's really nice to like warm things up on your face. It just kind of gives it a little bit more youthful glow. And I always kind of bring my bronzer down my neck. Because I don't know about you, but my neck is typically a lot lighter than like my chest and my face for whatever reason. I guess it just doesn't get much sun. So I always bring it down my neck just to kind of blend it out. So that is High Tide bronzer, really pretty. Okay, lip and cheeks. Lip and cheeks. Let's do lip and cheeks. So this is kind of the duo that I've been doing this week that has just been on repeat. And I think I'm going to do it today, although I kind of want to show y'all Melody. What should I do? Let me do Melody. I've been doing, because this is Bare, which was a limited edition color, which we don't offer right now. I would love if they made that one a staple because it's one of my favorites. So I try not to use too much of it because I'm scared I'm going to run out. So this is Bare and this is Frenchie. And I like mixing the two together. It's really pretty. But I'm just going to go ahead and I'll do Melody because that is one of the shades of the quarter that I just have really, really loved. So I'm going to go in with Melody. Melody is a satin. But it's just a really pretty kind of peachy nude color. Look how pretty that is. So this is the one that I ended up getting another one in. I got a spare in because I really like that. When I find the limited editions that I really like, I always stock up on them because I'm afraid I'm going to run out and then they're not going to bring it back. So that is Melody. Really pretty, very wearable. Let's do Nova, because I'm really excited to dive into this one. Okay, so this is Nova. This is the new cream illuminator. Now, like I said, I typically use my cream illuminators mixed in with my bronzer. So when I tap into my bronzer, I tap into the illuminator. And I love it because it just kind of gives like an all over really nice glow. But I'm just going to show you Nova by itself today. So I am just going to tap this right on the high points of my cheekbones. And that is Nova. It's really pretty. I feel like this is a great color for a lot of different skin shade ranges. So if you're fair, this is going to be a really pretty color for you. Love it. And that's typically where I put my illuminator. I don't need to be like blinding everybody. Okay, let me get some eyebrows on. Because I always look at myself when I'm doing my makeup. And I'm doing these lives and I'm like, what am I missing? What's next? What am I missing? And I'm missing my eyebrows. So let's do those so I can feel better about my life. So I'm going in with the NYX Brow Definer Pencil. And I love this pencil so much. And I'm just overlining. So I'm going kind of right directly under my brow and over my brow. And I'm just carving out where my eyebrows should be. And I'm using a very light stroke. You don't want to push too hard. You don't want these harsh lines. And you'll notice I don't have really any hair right here. So I always kind of extend that towards the center of my face to give myself a little bit more brow. But I love this pencil because A, I don't have to sharpen it because I'm too lazy for that. And B, it comes out, I don't know if you can see that very well. It comes out with like a really kind of fine, flat tip. Thank you, Deborah. Which I really like. This is my go-to brow pencil. And this is the color Ash Brown, which works really well for me. So just extend that towards the center of my face to pretend I have some eyebrows, which my eyebrows have been getting a little bit better. I've been using my my Hello Skincare Lash Therapy. I use it virtually every night. I use it maybe every other night now. But when I put that on, any excess that I have, I've been putting on my brows, and I feel like my brows are kind of like filling in right there. And it's really exciting, you guys, because I don't have eyebrows. And the eyebrows that I do have are super light, and you can't really see them. So I've outlined where my eyebrows need to be, and then I'm going to go in just like a little cheap CoverGirl flat angled brush. So you can use whatever cheap brush you'd like, just a flat angled brush. And I'm going very lightly into my eyeshadow color Oak, and I'm just filling these in. Now, when I fill my eyebrows in, I am not starting towards the center of my face for a reason. You want to make sure that you are not having these harsh, drawn-on looking eyebrows. So I always, when I tap into product, I use leftover product once I get to the center of my face. And that kind of gives this like ombre effect. And then when I get to the center of my face, I'm kind of using upward motions in the direction that my hair is growing. And that is how I do, those are my lazy girl eyebrows. Because I don't know anybody that doesn't legitimately have eyebrows like me. I have to draw mine on or else you can't really see them. For those of us that don't have eyebrows, I don't know any of us that enjoy doing our eyebrows. Like it's the one part of my makeup routine that I hate. So this is the way that I have found to do my eyebrows that doesn't take too much time. It's not too detailed, and it gives me a pretty decent result. So my lazy girl brows, I like them. I like easy. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my eyeshadow look. Let me quickly just tap some, I like to tap a little bit of setting powder underneath my eyes, not too much. but I feel like it just kind of blurs out my under eye. Thank you. So it just blurs out just a few hairs on my brows. Yep, just a few. We just have a couple. It's okay. That's what makeup's for. It's fine. I'm just not brave enough to do like the microblading, or is that what it's called? Microblading? Yeah. Where they do like the semi-permanent brows. I haven't gotten the guts to do that yet. Maybe someday. I don't know what it would feel like to wake up and have have eyebrows, to be quite honest. Okay, so I just set my under eyes with the tiniest bit of Vanilla Dust setting powder. It's super lightweight. I really love it. And now I'm going to go back in with the small end of my eyeshadow brush. I'm going to go in with a little bit of that Bubba, that first color that I put on. And I'm just going to drag this under my eyes. Always tap off any excess eyeshadow before you place it on. That way you don't get any more fallout. Okay. So our under eyes are done. Y'all, did I finish? I think I'm done, other than lips. I'm going to go ahead and just do my lips real quick. I'm going to go in with my suede lip liner and the fine end. Cindy did the microblading and it faded. How long did it take to fade? Aren't they supposed to last? That's a really expensive investment for it to just not last. That's always my fear. I feel like stuff doesn't really I feel like I shed, like my skin must shed or something. Like my dear friend Lauren got me hooked on, it's Peta Jane self tanner, and I really do love it. And she's always like, oh, my tan lasts like 2 weeks. And I'm like, I think I'm just like a snake. I'm really dry and like my skin just must shed off because like I can't get a self tanner to last that long. This one lasts really well, but I'm always like, man, that must be nice. Maybe that's what it is. Our skin just sheds too much to like take on microblading. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit of Sunshine State just to show you guys. This is Sunshine State. 2 years, huh? Ugh, yeah. I'll take my cheap little eyebrows, I guess, and be okay with it. And then my thing is like, if they do it and I don't like it, then am I stuck for 2 years? That's scary. I just don't really like permanent stuff all that much. So that is Sunshine State. It's just a very sheer gloss. I really love this. I use this kind of like as an illuminator. And then I'm going to go into Desert Sunset, which is a gloss. Okay. Yes. Look at me getting my makeup done. Okay. Let me set my whole face and then I'll do my mascara. So Vanilla Dust. Let's talk Vanilla Dust. You have to set this makeup. You can't not set this makeup. So the method that you use is totally up to you. I am a Vanilla Dust junkie and I have really, really dry skin, as I've told you guys a billion times. And so setting powder before this, I absolutely hated. It made my skin feel really angry and dry and tired. And it didn't look good on me. It just kind of made my skin appear more dry. I love Vanilla Dust because it's super lightweight. You can't really tell that I have a powder on. It just kind of mattifies everything. And it sets my makeup, which is great. So I really, really love Vanilla Dust. So even if you don't like setting powders, try this one out because I think that you'll like it. It just kind of gives this really beautiful airbrush finish to your makeup. You can also use a setting spray when I'm going to like an event or something like that, or something where I'm going to be like outdoors in the elements all day. I will use both. And I typically will, once I'm done with my makeup, I will spray with setting spray. This is actually my Saint setting spray, but I like the nozzle on this one better. So this was empty. And so I just filled this with my Saint setting spray. So when I'm done with my makeup, I just set it with my setting spray, let that dry, and then I go over it with my, my Vanilla Dust. Excuse me. I feel like I'm getting like a cough, you guys. So my apologies. I keep coughing in your face. So yeah, you have to set this makeup. So I highly recommend the Vanilla Dust setting powder because it is just a game changer for me. This right here, everybody always asks me what mascara I use, and I always will happily plug this mascara. I don't get anything from telling you guys about this mascara. I have no affiliation with them, but it is the mascara that has just changed the game for me. So this is Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions. It's a tubing mascara. Deborah, yes, the setting powder that I just used is it's the Saint Vanilla Dust, and it is the only setting powder that I can use. I use this one on my eyes just because I like a more heavy duty one, and I have this left and I just need to use it. This is the Too Faced Born This Way, but I don't like this on my skin, so I just use it to set my eyes before I do my eyeshadow. The Saint Vanilla Dust is what I use on my face. So the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions, as I was saying earlier, as we age and we mature and things change on our face, things don't work anymore the way that they used to, and mascara was doing some crazy stuff on me. So I was getting raccoon eyes. It was flaking on me all the time. It was transferring under my eyes. It was not good, and I could not find a good mascara that would not do that on me. I tried primers, I tried all the things. Maybelline Sky High was the closest thing that I got, and I would use it with a primer underneath. And the thing that I didn't like about that is it wasn't a waterproof mascara, but it acted like one, and it was so hard on my lashes and so hard to get off for me. So I just didn't really care for it. Once I tried Thrive, the Liquid Lash Extensions, this is a tubing mascara. So when you wash your face off, these actually come off in tubes. I've had zero issue with my mascara since I've switched over to this one. So I happily sing their praises any chance I can get, because I know a lot of us have major mascara issues. And so if I can help one woman not look like a raccoon by the end of the day, I will. And I love this stuff. It's so good. I actually have it on, so you can get, if you sign up for like the subscription, where you can set how often you want this. I think I do mine every 2 months maybe. You set how often you want it. You get free shipping. So mine just auto ships. So I have one on its way, and it's so funny because I must have picked like the perfect timing, because every time I'm doing my mascara and I'm starting to think like, oh, I need a new mascara, like this one's starting to kind of dry out or like not go on as easily, I always get like ding, like the next day. It's like shipping notification on my Thrive Cosmetics. So I do really like that, because it's just something I don't have to think about, and it just shows up in the mail, and I'm like, yes, I do need a new mascara, thank you. Okay, so that's my makeup. So if you are not interested in watching me put on some hair, thank you so much for joining me. You are welcome to leave, but I'm just gonna put on my hair right now. So that is the Saint Makeup. So like I said, I have a lot of people that are getting their makeup in for the first time. And if you get your makeup in and you have any questions, or you're confused, or you don't know what to do, or you're like, this isn't right, or whatever, please feel free to reach out to me. I am here for you. That is the benefit of Saint, is that you have me at your disposal. So if anything is confusing you or not working right, please feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to help you. We can do a shade swap. We can do all the things. If you're really struggling, I can do a Zoom call with you, and we can put on our makeup together. I am down to help however I can. So anyways, I am going to put my wig on. I am just taking my little bit of puny hair and I'm rolling it up at the base of my neck. What was the eye setting powder he used? Was it Deborah? The setting powder I use for my eyes is it's Too Faced brand. It's called Born This Way Ethereal Setting Powder in Translucent. It's nothing special. This is expensive. I still have this left over from before I started using Saint, like almost 3 years ago. In September, I'll have been using Saint for 3 years. So this was just something that I had left over. So please do not go out and buy this just to set your eyes. You can buy just like a cheap setting powder at the drugstore, to be quite honest. This is just something that I had left over, and that's what I'm using it for, to kind of use it up. And at the rate that I'm using it, I'll have it until I have a foot in the grave. Okay, so I have just my hair tied up at the base of my neck, as flat as it will go. And then I only use wig grips. So this is my grip from the hair grip. And I really love this one because it has a silicone lining on the inside. So that gives you extra security up here, that it's not going to slide back on you. So if you're having issues with your wig grip sliding on, if you have bio hair, a lot of times, like some of us will have really slick hair. If you're having issues with that wig grip moving on you, try this one out, because this feature is just, it's so smart. So this has alleviated that issue for a lot of women that I know. So this is from the hair grip. You have that silicone on the inside. It has a nice little label that tells you the correct direction to put it on, which is really helpful sometimes, because I have put on my wig grip backwards. And this is the only thing that I use to secure my wig. I don't like adhesives. I don't like tape. It's too much work. I'm too lazy. And it's just a whole thing. And I don't need it, because my wig grip keeps my my wig in place the whole day. So this is my stacked hair. This was the first piece that I got from Allie. This was back when I met up with her in Chicago. And this was a color that she actually was trying to replicate some popular synthetic blondes. And so she reached out to me, and I happily shipped off some of my favorite synthetic blondes. So this was actually made after Shaded Ice Latte Macchiato. And we're going on a year of this, and this is one of my most worn wigs. I wear this wig a lot. I wear it every single week, and I wear it multiple times a week most of the time. And I have been so shocked how well this blonde has held up. Like, it is a very cool icy blonde, and I don't really do anything special to it. When I wash it with a purple shampoo, and I usually will mix that purple shampoo with like my hydrating shampoo, my Moroccan oil hydrating shampoo. I'll mix those together, and I'll kind of let it soak in that for a few minutes. You don't want to let it soak too long, or you'll have a purple wig, but just to kind of tone it a little bit. But it is just, this wig is just it's my comfort human hair wig. I will say that. Like, when I don't want to fuss with hair, this is my go-to human hair wig. So I'm just going to swan dive into that. Always grab it by the ear tabs to adjust that part where you want it. And yeah, that's it. That's my beautiful stacked piece. Y'all should have seen, maybe later today, I sent a text message to some of my friends on here, Lauren and Emily and Allie. I sent a picture to Allie too. But when I wash my wigs, I air dry them upside down, because I like to have a lot of volume. And I am notorious in my little pea brain that goes a million different places. I'm notorious for not following through with styling them right away. And so I washed just a ton of my wigs all at once, had them air drying upside down. And this one got left upside down air drying for a solid, probably couple of weeks. And I put it on, you guys, and I sent them a picture of it, and I was like, I feel like I'm like having a Sia moment. Like, my hair was it was gigantic. So I'll post a picture just for y'all's entertainment on my stories later this afternoon. So I had to tame her down. So she can definitely be a big hair girl if you want her to be. But yeah, this is my stacked piece. So always recommend. I would love stacked. And Allie and Lauren are just gems in the community, and they are super helpful. So that's that. You guys, thank you so much for those of you that were able to hop on this morning. I know that these early morning lives are not the most convenient for most people, but I will always add this to my page. That way you can reference it when you need it. But if you have any questions, whether it be hair related, makeup related, all the things, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to help in whatever way that I can. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend. Bye.